As we have already seen the concept of flow, I would like to again reinstate that the flow experiences occur when we become engaged in controllable but challenging tasks or activities that require considerable skill and which are intrinsically motivating. For flow experiences to occur, we must have a good chance of completing these tasks. There must be clear goals and immediate feedback. These tasks require total concentration, so we become deeply, effortlessly involved in them. So much so that we no longer think of the worries and frustrations of everyday life. Our sense of self disappears when involved in these tasks, and paradoxically, the sense of self emerges as strengthened after the task is completed. Time perception is altered during flow experiences. Hours can pass in what seem to be minutes, and minutes can seem like hours. Flow experiences may occur during reading, sports, involvement in creative arts and music, or involvement in certain types of works. Examples of activities that have been shown in scientific psychological studies to lead to flow experiences include reading, sailing, chess, rock climbing, dancing, writing, and gang motorcycling. The defining characteristics of activities that lead to flow experiences is that they become an end in themselves. While the tasks may initially be done for other reasons, ultimately they are done because they are intrinsically rewarding. Writers often say that they write not for financial or occupational advancement but because it is so enjoyable. Sailors may spend a lot of money and time getting their boats into good condition, not because they want to win sailing competitions or maintain contact with other sailors, but because for them nothing compares with the flow experience of being out sailing. Activities that lead to flow experiences are said to be autotelic. Autotelic comes from the Greek word self and goal, which is auto means for self, telos means for goals. Autotelic experiences are those that arise from activities which are not done for some anticipated future benefit, but because the activity in itself is intrinsically and immediately rewarding. Challenging activities that require skills are the tasks which lead to flow experiences, must demand that we use our skills almost to their limits. It is also important that the tasks are completable, for example, finishing reading or writing a piece of prose, completing a piece of music, or finishing a game. In flow experiences, the ratio of the challenge entailed by an activity and the skill required for the activity is close to 1:1. And we are operating at an average level of challenge and skill. The low skill or low challenge domain is associated with apathy. High skill and high challenge quadrant is designated with flow domain. In highly challenging situations where we have a low level of skill, anxiety may occur because the activities are experienced as uncontrollable. Boredom occurs in situations where there is low level of challenge and we are at least moderately skilled. Tasks that lead to flow experiences have clear, not it's not vague, it's clear goals, and feedback about movement towards these goals is immediate and not delayed. Sports such as competitive sailing or tennis involve extremely clear goals such as rounding marks before other boats or scoring points. In all sports, feedback is immediate. The competitor knows on a moment to moment basis if they are winning or losing. Because tasks that lead to flow experiences involve working towards clear goals and receiving immediate feedback about movement towards these goals, a deep level of concentration on the task is essential. This results in a loss of awareness of the self. We stop being aware of ourselves as separate from the task in which we are involved. The dancer becomes the dance, the singer becomes the song, the sailor becomes one with the boat. Lapses in concentration or diversion into self criticism can erase the flow experience and the quality of skilled task performance. So, During flow experiences, we do not ask ourselves, should we be doing this or is some other alternative better, because to do so would disrupt the flow experiences. One outcome of this temporary loss of self awareness is that after flow experiences, our sense of self is strengthened. When we are involved in flow experiences, our perception of time is distorted. If we are truly, fully engrossed in reading a book, for hours may fly in by what means like minutes. The experience of elapsed time in such instances is condensed. In other flow experiences, the experience of elapsed time is extended. For example, executing rapid skilled maneuvers in competitive sailing in windy conditions may take no more than seconds, but during flow experiences, these maneuvers seem to occur almost in slow motion. Certain cultures and types of families are conducive to flow experiences. Some cultures afford more opportunities for flow experiences. Some families offer socialization experiences that allow children to develop personality traits that make it easier for children to have flow experiences. All cultures evolve goals which citizens aspire, and social norms, roles, rules, and rituals which specify the ways in which these goals may legitimately be achieved. Cultures in which the goals closely match the skills of the population afford citizens more opportunities for our flow experiences. This proposition is supported by scientific surveys which show that greater life satisfaction is reported by citizens of nations in which there are more stable governments and in which people are more affluent and better educated. The frequency with which flow experiences occur in different cultures may vary depending upon prevailing practices in a variety of areas associated with flow experiences, including work, religion, and sport. Work based flow experiences are more common in cultures that permit people to have work roles that are neither monotonously boring nor overly challenging and stressful, but where role demands meet workers' skill levels. Flow experiences are more common in cultures where religious rituals involving dance, singing, or meditation, which promotes flow experiences, are widely practiced. Flow experiences are more common in cultures where skilled games against well matched competitors are widely practiced. Certain types of families have been found in a study by Dr. Kelvin Rathunte at the University of Chicago to promote the experience of flow. Adolescents in families characterized by optimal levels of clarity, centering choice, commitment, and challenge reported more frequent flow experiences. In families with optimal levels of clarity, goals and feedback were unambiguous, and children knew clearly what was expected out of them. In families with optimal levels of centering, children knew that their parents were interested in what they were doing and experiencing now in the present and were not preoccupied with whether they would get a good job or place in the college after they finished school. In families with optimum levels of choice, children believed that they had a degree of choice over how they behaved and that different choices, including breaking parental rules, were associated with different consequences. In families with optimum levels of commitment, children felt that the family was sufficiently safe for them to unself-consciously become involved in activities and sports that really interested them without fear of being judged negatively, criticized, or humiliated. For children to be fully committed to activities in which they had flow experiences, they had to feel a high level of trust in their parents. In families where there was an optimum level of challenge, parents were dedicated to providing children with increasingly complex opportunities for exercising their unique and developing skills as they become older and more skillful. The result of the study suggests that there are specific things we can do to help our children have more flow experiences. We can provide them with clear goals and feedback. We can respect what interests them now rather than exclusively focusing on what might be good for them in the distant future. We can give them opportunities to make choices about what they do and to be mindful of the consequences of these choices. We can encourage them to unself-consciously try their best at activities they choose. We can offer them opportunities to face bigger challenges as they get older. Sexual relationships for most of us are initially very pleasurable and satisfying. However, with time, intimate relationship can deteriorate from being a positive experience into a boring routine or an addictive dependency. In short term, intimacy can continue to be a source of low experience if we make them increasingly complex by experimenting with a variety of practices. However, for sexual relationships to retain the vitality over the long term, it is vital that the psychological as well as the erotic dimension of the relationship become more complex. This is done by caring deeply for our partners as companions, by sharing valued interests, hopes, and dreams with them, by embarking on adventures with them, by raising children with them, by facing all life's chaos, stress, and losses with them. To develop the capacity to experience flow in carrying out physical activities like walking, running, or swimming, there are some straightforward guidelines to follow. First, set an overall goal and break this down into a number of sub goals. Second, decide on a way of measuring progress towards a goal that you have chosen. Third, concentrate on doing the activity as well as you can when you are doing it and noting how well you are achieving your sub goals. Fourth, gradually increase the difficulty or complexity of the sub goals you are aiming for so that the challenge you face matches your level of growing skill. How do we measure the flow? The two main ways of measuring flow experiences have been developed. The first involves completion of a questionnaire on one occasion only. The second is called the experience sampling method. In the questionnaire method, quotations from people who have had flow experiences are given. For example, my mind isn't wandering. I'm not thinking of something else. I'm totally involved in what I'm doing. My body feels good. I don't seem to hear anything. Respondents are then asked to indicate if they have had such experiences, and if so, how often and in what context. They then are invited to rate flow experiences they've had on a series of scales, and these are listed. A few of the questions can be like, I get involved, I get anxious, I clearly know what I'm supposed to do, I get direct clues as to how well I am doing, I feel self conscious, I would do it if I didn't have to, I get distracted. Some of these are the questions. In the second way of assessing flow experience, participants are invited to carry electronic pagers which give signals periodically for participants to fill in a page in notebook they carry. The pager gives about 8 signals at random intervals per day, and participants carry the pager for a week in most studies. Each of the pages of the notebook that participants fill in when the pager sends a signal is the same. A copy of one such page is given where they write about where were you, what were you doing, why were you doing this, how self-conscious were you, did you feel good about yourself, were you in control of the situation, are you happy, describe your mood as you were beeped, like whether you were alert or happy. The information from these sheet is combined to give scores for various dimensions of the flow experience in the way based on affect, system negentropy, which is like activation, cognitive efficiency, motivation, and self-concept. Meeting one's expectation, satisfied with performance, such as these self-help strategies for enhancing well-being or intrinsic motivation and flow can help in improving the clinical practices. Thank you.